Just did. I just did.
Okay, good.
I hope it worked.
Cool. I don't know. Well, can you guys see my face all big now? Okay, good. You did it. Well done. I can't see it. So excellent. Well, welcome everybody. So part of reclaiming yourself, part of really getting a handle on yourself and who you are, is reclaiming your purpose. I know some people who believe that we come into this life with a purpose. I can accept that as a possibility. I'm not certain that's true. It makes a certain amount of sense. Some people believe we come into this life with a purpose and then we forget it. And so part of reclaiming yourself would be picking up the purpose that you came in with, but then forgot about, and when it sort of crawled down into your unconscious. Now you have to go dig it back up again. So we're going to be talking about, for the next 20 minutes or so, is a few key things about purpose. As Amir knows, I could talk about purpose for hours, but they were very smart and only gave me 21 minutes. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about what purpose is, how to find it, why you would want to find it, and then what gets in the way, and how to tell whether you actually know your purpose or not. That's a cool one that a lot of folks leave out. So you're going to walk away with a real life skill, which is if someone says to you, "This is my purpose," you can actually help them test it and see if it's true or not. And if you think you know your purpose or you're not sure, you can figure it out. So I'm going to have to keep moving because that's a lot to pack into that little bit of time there. So let me say that when I say purpose, people throw the word around a lot and they don't generally define it, which I think is a mistake. I'm a mathematician, so I'm like required. There's like rules for mathematicians. We have to define our terms. It's part of being a mathematician. So if I'm going to talk about purpose for 20 minutes, I have to tell you what I mean when I say purpose. And so for me, purpose is the answer to the question why. That's what purpose is. And that could be a little purpose, like why did you come to this call tonight, or why did you sign up for this week-long thing, right? That would this 2-week thing. That would be a little purpose. The big purpose is like, why am I here? Or why is anybody here? Right? That would be a big one. And I often answer that big question in the context of organizations and even sometimes countries. Like, why are we XYZ company here? We know what we do, but why do we do it, right? It's actually a very important question for a company to answer too. And it's very, very good for a company and good for the world if more for-profit companies would answer that question well. But today we're talking about you. So we're going to stick to why are you here on this planet? And that breaks down to roughly who are you meant to be and what are you meant to do? Who are you meant to be and what are you meant to do? So why would you want to know the answers to those questions? Well, the truth is that most people go through their lives without ever answering those questions. And many people live happy lives despite that. So some people say, oh, you have to know your purpose in order to be happy. I don't think that's true. I think there are lots of happy people out there who don't know their purpose. So why would you want to know your purpose? If we had an hour, I'd ask you, we'd take some shares, but I'm going to suggest some common answers because I've asked this question of a lot of people. So often when people undergo transitions in their life, when they're feeling like maybe your kids leave home, or you're getting ready to retire, or you get diagnosed with a disease, or you get married or divorced or something like that, often life transitions raise this question, these questions of meaning. And so those kinds of things cause people to focus more on purpose and try to answer these questions. So that's one reason why people want to find their purpose. Another reason why people want to find their purpose is they just want to live a more happy and more fulfilling life. And they think it will help. And often it does. Usually it does. And another fairly common reason that I don't see a lot of people acknowledge is that some people are just growth and development junkies, right? Raise your hand out there, you growth and development junkies. Hands up, come on, right? And if someone said, hey, guess what? I could help you find your higher purpose in life and figure out why you're here. The growth and development junkie says, yeah, where do I sign? Right? There doesn't have to be anything wrong to want to find your purpose in life. What a great tool for growth and development, right? And the last reason is some people feel a personal responsibility to change the world. Raise your hand if you're a change agent. You know you were sent to fix the world. Come on, hands up. You know who you are. Good. Well, if you get your purpose really accurate, it gives you instructions about how you are supposed to change the world, which is different than how I'm supposed to change the world. And if you're a change agent, that's a pretty useful piece of information. Just briefly, I'll say that the research says that people who know their purpose live longer, are less likely to get Alzheimer's, heart disease, have better sex, earn more money, and I would add to that, not research-based, age slower. People who are purpose-driven look younger on average, at least the ones I know. So if you could package that and sell it as a vitamin, you'd make a lot of money. But it's actually cheaper, right? Once you know your purpose, you don't have to pay anybody, it's yours. So how do you find it? Let's assume that's interesting to you. How do you find your purpose? The typical method is you go looking through your history for clues. And often a book or a coach or a workshop will have you answer a whole bunch of questions. Raise your hand if you've done this exercise, right? And it's like, okay, if you only had a year to live, and if you had lots of money and didn't have to work, and what's the most time you felt most passionate, you know, these kinds of questions. And the answers contain clues to your purpose. And there's lots of variations on this exercise, but it's always essentially the same. Answer a whole bunch of questions and go sifting through the answers looking for patterns. That's the most common method. The method I like to use is different. I assume the purpose is already there and it's unconscious. So if we go into your unconscious, we ought to be able to just find it. And the way we do that is finding something in your unconscious that knows what it is and asking it what your purpose is. And then it answers and tells you, and then you know. And I find that a much more entertaining method and also way more accurate, because you're actually being informed specifically what the purpose is rather than trying to figure it out or reverse engineer it. And that could be something like your heart or your intuition or your higher self or something like that. And then depending on your belief systems, it could be a wide variety of things. But basically it's an interview with you as the interviewer asking the question and something else answering and telling you the answer. Now, why doesn't everyone already know their purpose? The reason's simple. It's fear. How many of you can feel that if I handed you a piece of paper right now with your purpose on it, you would hesitate to open it up and look at it? Raise your hand if you can feel some part of you at least that would go, ooh, right? Over 99% of people have at least one concern about learning their purpose. The less common one, by the way, is limiting beliefs, but usually it's fears. Like if someone had a limiting belief that there's no such thing as a purpose, that would prevent you from learning your purpose, right? Or even a limiting belief that I don't deserve a purpose, that would be enough. But more frequently it's, oh no, if I found my purpose, then X bad thing might happen. I might have to move to Namibia to feed starving children, or I might have to quit my job, or my spouse might not like me anymore, might ruin my reputation, something like that, some other need that will go unfulfilled, some other problem that will be created if I figure out what my purpose is and actually try to do something with it. So if you're going to use these more advanced methods to get your unconscious to directly tell you what your purpose is, unless you're a very rare person, the number now is, I think, 37 people who didn't have to deal with fears first, and that's out of many thousands. So it's way less than 1%. Everybody else, me included, has to deal with fears first. So you deal with the fears, and then you have to learn how to converse with something in your unconscious that will then explain your purpose to you. And it's useful to know the right questions to ask too. So how do you tell if you've succeeded? What are the clues? So how many of you think you might know your purpose? Anybody out there think, well, maybe, right? Maybe I know my purpose, okay. And now you're gonna find out how to tell. And this works for everybody and it'll work for the rest of your life. So if you find it later, you can go, oh, I remember that guy Tim told me how to tell if this is it. Let me check, right? So the test is you say it out loud. Now you can just say it out loud by yourself, right? But if you want to get a better read, say it out loud into a mirror or say it out loud to another human being, right? Just say, my purpose is to blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Good. I see someone's doing it right now. No time like the present. Well done. Come on. So you just say it out loud and then notice your physical and emotional reaction. Not your thoughts, not I like it, I don't like it, it's true, it's not true. Those are thoughts. Physical reactions, heat, pain, lightness, those are physical reactions. Anger, fear, sadness, joy, those are emotions, right? If you have strong physical and emotional reactions, that's your purpose. If you have weak ones or no physical and emotional reactions, it's not your purpose. You're wrong. Now, here's the trick. If the reactions are strong, they might be strong and positive, or they might be strong and negative. It doesn't matter. If you say your purpose out loud and you're terrified, it's your purpose. If you say your purpose out loud and you suddenly feel like, oh my God, that's the most arrogant thing anyone has ever said. I could never say that to another human being. I want to crawl under the table. That was your purpose. Right? So all that matters is the reaction is strong. It doesn't matter. It may matter to you, but in terms of accuracy, it doesn't matter whether the reaction is positive or negative. So just do that. And then here's a little tip with that one, which is over time, the strength of the reaction will fade. So if it's been more than a couple of years since you found your purpose, when you say it out loud now, it probably doesn't feel the same as when you first found it. The thrill is gone. Well, I'm not saying it is for you, Amir. I don't know. That's up to you. But purpose statements tend to degrade in potency over time, which means you have to refresh it. You have to renew it. You have to go back to the drawing board and update it. Now, you may believe that your purpose never changes over your life. That may be true, but that doesn't mean your purpose statements couldn't change, because that's trying to put your purpose into language, which is an inexact science. So even if you believe your purpose isn't changing, you might need to still find a better way to say it, if that makes sense. Some people believe their purpose does evolve, some don't. So the idea here is you would go on this quest, you would find your purpose, and then you would test it by saying it out loud and seeing what kind of reaction you have. Notice whether it's accurate or not. And then either, oops, that didn't get much of a reaction, I got to figure it out more, or, ooh, wow, that was a really strong reaction, I'm good. Now, here's the last really important trick, which is then you have to do something about it. And it could be really little, or it could be really big. I recommend starting little. People get very intimidated by their purpose and they think, oh no, I can't do that. And then they don't do anything. You're way better off if you find some simple little tiny way to manifest your purpose in a very, very mundane sense, just some little thing. So my purpose, the one I first found was to show people the way or show people their path, which turned into a book called True Purpose and Finding the Higher Purpose of Countries and Organizations. But that's not what I did first. A really good first step, and something I do very well, is to give people driving directions. That is absolutely showing people the way and showing people their path. I'm actually a level 3 Waze map editor, right? So it doesn't have to be the be all end all change the world purpose activity. Any version of that purpose activity would be a good idea. So find something to do, something you're willing to do, something you can get yourself to do, and do it. And then the next day, do it again. And the next day, do it again, even if it's a tiny thing every day. Because what will happen is over time, your willingness to do bigger things will slowly grow. And then after a few years, you'll be finding the purposes of countries and stuff like that, right? That didn't happen right away. That was like 10 years in. So give yourself a break, take it easy, do it one step at a time, right? Let me just check. I think I covered everything I told you I would cover. I just want to make sure that's true. Yeah, I do want to say one other thing about knowing your purpose. It's possible actually to live your purpose without knowing what it is. It's much harder. But here's how you can use your purpose even if you can't put it into words. I can ask an audience of people, like, what percentage are you on or off purpose in your life right now? And pretty much anyone can tell right away. They can go, meh, I don't know, 70, 80%, or 10 or 20%. I'm miserable, right? Even not knowing what their purpose is, people know whether they're living their purpose or not. It's just much easier to live it deliberately if you know what it is, because then you can go seek it out. If you don't know what it is, you're kind of relying on trial and error or accident to get you on purpose and keep you there. So just think about it right now. How close to being on purpose are you right now? Think about it. You can put it in the chat. Like, what's your self-assessment of how on purpose you are right now? And another interesting question that people take for granted is, how on purpose do you want to be? Because it might not be 100%. It might be less than that. That's okay. There's no law that says that you have to be 100% on purpose, or that you have to want to be 100% on purpose. Be honest with yourself. So if you're 40% on purpose and that sounds good to you, you're good to go. If you're 60% on purpose and you want to be 90% on purpose, now you have some work to do. Right? So notice what those two things are, because that tells you whether this is just a nice talk that you're listening to, or this is a problem you need to solve, something you need to do something about. Right? And that's totally personal and totally up to you. Good. There we go. We got some good stuff here. Excellent. Well, I hope this was illuminating and illustrating for you. I hope you feel just a hair more purposeful. Maybe you're like 72% now when you were 70% at the beginning. And if you want to find your purpose and you want to live your purpose, I hope you succeed at that. And if not, I hope you're honest with yourself about that and spare yourself all sorts of unnecessary effort.
So this is incredible. If anybody here is confused, then that's a good first step, right? I mean, when I heard Tim the first hour, I got confused. And am I on purpose? Am I not? And I don't know if everybody here in the room knows Guy Lee's tagline, but Guy Lee's tagline is "Never walk alone." And that tagline is an abstraction of the 4 purpose statements that I created with Tim in my work. So it's literally taken out of my purpose work into Guy Lee's tagline and mission, to make sure that people on their personal development, spiritual transformation path never feel that they walk alone.
Good. And this is he's modeling something for you right now, right? Which is to take your purpose to work. You know, that take your daughter to work thing. Take your purpose to work. You don't have to.
My
it's
daughter,
a good idea.
My daughter is here.
Your daughter's here. Hi, Gaia. Shalom.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really awesome and fun. I know you had a crazy busy week, so I appreciate you making the time for us.
Absolutely, wouldn't miss it.
And I encourage everybody to take one word and either drop it in the chat or later keep it for the end, where we'll integrate that. As usual, we'll send the recording tomorrow with an invite. Shannon had to take a call and left me here with
this Zoom thing.
This Zoom thing where I need to be able to say what's happening tomorrow, and I don't know what to say what's happening tomorrow. So it will be a surprise, but I hope you can all join me tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have a great second week, everybody. Reclaiming yourself. Awesome.
2 out of 3. It's really awesome.
And I just want to say there's some incredible words here in the chat.
Yeah. Passion,
75%, 85%. Thanks, Tim. Tim, you're awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Passion, inspired, grateful, ready. Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you, Carmela, for the help with that. Really appreciate everybody. Let's get off mute. and say good night and thank you. Hi, everybody.
Thanks, Tim.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Welcome. Thanks for coming. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.